Did you get your black belt in judo?
Not yet. Yeah, because judo, there's a, they put the black belt in my waist, but I believe that I have to go through the process, There's a long process to get a black belt in judo. I'm a brown belt. I do wear my black belt when I train because the sensei that I train here in LA, he allows me to wear my black belt, but I still have to do the whole process. You have to go and do the katas. And like I said, I'm a martial artist, and someone that steps into my dojo to learn jiu-jitsu, they're going to have to go through some process. And if I have to go through a process to really accomplish my degree, I will. And I just didn't have the right time to do it. So,
you mentioned, oh, go ahead. How many days a week do you train judo?
About twice a week. Of course, if my neck doesn't hurt and my knee doesn't hurt,
right.
So when somebody bugs me, I usually don't go. I take seasons that I don't go to judo, because judo is really, especially when you're not really a judo specialist, if you just go and you end up getting hurt, and as everybody know, I have a long history in injuries, and those are the things that really bug me through my whole life. And, I just go and probably near competition and stuff like that, I usually step up my judo and make sure I can hold the gi properly.
Does your sensei know that you go in, training judo with the eye for jiu-jitsu competition?
Yeah, he knows. He trains. My sensei here, he trains. Mm-hmm. He's a blue belt. He's not my student, but he does train jiu-jitsu, and he knows. That's why he respects me of who I am in jiu-jitsu. He allows me to wear my black belt, but he knows I'm not a black belt. And I know that's the most important thing, because I told him I would put the white belt. I know it's going to be embarrassing if you put the white belt. So put your black belt, not a problem, but when you have enough time, and then you can go to the process to get the real black belt. I wanna hang a judo black belt in my wall for sure.
How would you compare or contrast the ground skill of the typical judo guy versus a jiu-jitsu guy?
They're very explosive, but because the rule is different, the sense of awareness is just different, It's like if they attack an arm and they miss it, they just turn the stomach to the floor and the fight is over, So it's not as sophisticated as jiu-jitsu is, like the whole timing and take your time. And the difference between jiu-jitsu and anything else, because it allows you to take some time to work a position. Judo, you don't. And then if you leave your arm a little bit, they have skills to just jump on it, but once they lose it, and then they don't have the ability to recover from a lost position. That's how I see it, the newaza in judo. But it's like I said, there's positions that are not very useful for jiu-jitsu, because for example, when the guy, when they don't want to go into a hold or something, they just go in their stomach and go like that. You're not gonna see a jiu-jitsu guy like that. You're not gonna see a jiu-jitsu guy going a turtle and just kind of waiting for the referee call mate. And that's why there are techniques that don't apply, but there are too many that apply. That's the difference that I see it.
You mentioned training at your academy. You used to train or teach in San Diego with your brother, and then recently you moved to Los Angeles. Why did you leave San Diego?
It's just that me and him, we've been together for a long time, and we thought about expanding the brand, and and I thought that I needed to do some business in my own too, just to see how that feel. We always been doing a lot of things together. We just thought that making a move, I had my family, and making a move would be good for both of us, and that really happened to be good for both of us. He learned more skills and I learned more skills, and we just closer than ever. It's just that sometimes staying all the time together, it's hard to do business with your own brother and stuff like that. But I just thought that I wanted to do something on my own for a little bit, just to have the experiment of running a business by myself and have to do things by myself. I think it was more of my personal choice of all right, bro, it's the time for me to see how I can handle things, But I just moved to LA, but our Ribeiro Jiu-Jitsu is growing every day. We have a lot of academies throughout the world, and in competition we got it much better, and I think that's just the beginning.
Is it difficult to balance running a business and being a highest level competitor?
Definitely, yes. That's the only thing that that I did myself. So I had to come to LA, to pretty much a place that I never been before. I just choose if I have to go, I'll go to LA. I'm not gonna go anywhere else. I gotta go to the main place, and it's really hard. I pretty much do everything by myself. And I run my business in a very old school way, you know, either my way or highway, pretty much. You know, when a guy comes in, there's no sales. Say you like jiu-jitsu or not. I do contracts like everybody else, and I do all this stuff, you know. But I think that the guy needs to love jiu-jitsu how I love jiu-jitsu, you know. And if I have to take longer to get as many people as I want to, I will. But like I've been teaching for a year at Tour Fitness. It's not my own gym. It's at a place that I teach. And I have not lost one student in a year. Nobody quit in 1 year. 2 guys had to move to a different state, and that's about it. I didn't have one guy quitting because I don't like jiu-jitsu, you know, and that's how it is. And they understand that I have to travel a lot, especially my travelings. I've been in Korea, Japan, Tahiti, Abu Dhabi, Europe, Brazil 3 times. So I've been traveling a lot. So, but I have a good core group of people that help me. They teach when I'm gone. Everybody's happy, you know, because it's not their commitment to me as the champion, as the teachers, their commitment to jiu-jitsu. And I think that's what they should, as a jiu-jitsu student, should always be care about. It's not how much they think they're learning. It's not that his teacher is the champion, you know, because tomorrow he's not the champion, so what? Then he's going to leave away. You know, I think the love and commitment to your own personal evolution through jiu-jitsu, I think that's the key for martial arts. And I was raised like that, I was born like that, I'll die like that, you know. And you know, I'm looking for have a huge academy, but I want my huge academy to be an academy and I'll be teaching 3-4 generations of the same family. If you just do it for the business, for the money, that might not be the reason that people are going to be there, because I want people to be there when I'm in a bad day, when I'm in a good day. You know, some days even this week, man, I came to them, guys, I'm so tired of training. You guys better handle me. And they love it because life is as tough as I could be. You know, it's just better me be tough to them, because the worst thing can happen is they tap, or, you know what I mean, then go outside and something else happens. And that's how I see it, you know. Maybe a lot of people see different. And that's how I was raised. That's how jiu-jitsu built me. And that's what I try to pass my students.
Walk me through a typical class. Say I show up to your academy tomorrow. What kind of things happen in your classes?
Pretty much, you know, it's just a random thing, a very mellow warm-up. I really use a lot of Ginástica Natural with Professor Álvaro Romano. It's pretty simple. It just depends on the day, you know. Depending on the feeling of the day, you know. Some day we do more like a workout gear to like just physical stuff, you know, a lot of push-ups, a lot of squats, a lot of abs. Some days are more like movement through Ginástica Natural. Some days just more a mellow day, like for example today we did a lot of stretching, for example, and it was cool. The other day I learned a lot of ball drills with Jeff Glover, so I'm really using that a lot. It was really fun, you know. So my school now is full of medicine balls and stability balls, whatever they call it, you know. So like I said, I try to make it fun, you know, because if you go there, it's the Robocop every day, and then, you know, I don't like that, you know. Some days I feel, some days the guy feel like they're beat up, and I do a stretch, a breathing, a meditation. So it's structured into like warm-up drills, technique, and training, like you know, like every school. But the only thing that diverges depends how I feel the energy of the class, you know. And of course, if there's a group of beginners, I take a structure aside and I run him through a proper, you know, the white belt protocol. And then the other guys, they run, you know, my class. But like I said, if you do the same thing every day, sometimes it's very boring. So I try to just keep it fun. Sometimes I yell at them, sometimes I don't. So,
so getting back to stability ball training, you know, having tried it out, would you suggest it for other people? Maybe not at your academy, but people at other academies to, you know, train with a stability ball a little bit of the time?
Well, yeah, it's just fun. Like I do just simple things, you know. Especially like I said, I had a lot of injuries throughout the years, so I try to adapt my physiotherapy into my exercises, you know. And for example, just getting a hook and talk about Ginástica, for example, because a lot of people has no concept of body, you know. Like people raise your right hand, they raise the left. You know, a lot of people has no understanding of how their body maneuvers, you know. So we go there to simple movements, you know, just to learn how to move. You know, some people, hey, sit down, they can't sit down. And that's what jiu-jitsu teaches you, you know, to adequate your body. As far as stability, we do simple things, just some balance on the ball in your hands, you know, because a lot of times, you know, a lot of things that I do is like to put the weight on people, and sometimes people are not comfortable into that being in motion, and you have to put your weight on it. Some people doesn't really feel, you know, feel comfortable with that. So I put them in the ball, and it's not like kick the ball, so they're stable. And then second step is get the hands off the ball, so they balance, so they work their core, and let's make them more confident. And then all of a sudden they do like a technical mount, so they step one leg up, and then step the other one, and then I throw like a little push up on the ball, so they have to, you know, control it. And then sometimes go back in the knee, you can like sprawl back in the knee. So we play very simple, you know. I don't really do stuff like rolling on the ball or jumping and things like this, you know, especially because I'm a beginner. Stability ball jiu-jitsu, right. You know. But yeah, I do like a lot of ab work, you know, just picking the ball and bring it to your hands and things like this. Sometimes like, you know, just grab the ball and kick the ball up and come back. Just simple things, you know. So like I said, like I was explaining earlier, it's just how to make the class fun. Right. You know. A couple of things that I do a lot of for like hamstrings, for knees, you know. We do like, you know, put your feet on the ball and raise your hip. You should be impressed how people can stabilize the core and then straight on leg up and keep the other one pulling in, so you really work your hammies. And a lot of things like that. You know, like I said, every day is a surprise. So when you come to my academy, it will be a surprise.
Offer accepted. Xande, notice you have a tattoo on your right wrist. What does that say?
That says faith, shinku in Japanese.
What does that mean to you?
Everything, you know. You have faith in everything, you know. I come here at BudoVideos, I have faith that it's a great place to be and speak my mind, you know. I don't know, it's just everything, because you have to have discipline in what you do, and you have to have faith in what you're doing, because you have to believe that whatever you do, you're doing for the right reasons, you know, and that's what it is for me, you know. I learned that in the hard ways, and I learned that in the good ways, and there's nothing in my life that'll make me break my faith. You know, I have the faith in people. I have lost my faith in people one time, but I regained it. You know, so you know, faith for me is everything. You know, and when you step in a jiu-jitsu school, you have faith that the teacher gonna be honest to you and teach you the right way, and that's how it is. It's pretty much you all believe that you're doing things for the right reasons.
Let's talk a little bit about your MMA career. You had 2 matches, both in Japan, mm-hmm. and you won both of them. What led you to want to compete in MMA?
The challenge, you know, of course, the money. I would say that I was very, very well paid when they hired me. But I just don't think I had the right experience as far as training for striking. As a curious, I never ever had a street fight in my life. And I think that to jiu-jitsu, you know. I never had to stand up to a man and scrap and see blood. Pretty much I never really saw blood in my life until my first MMA fight. So I can say that my first fight ever was paid to fight in Japan, a main event. So I'm kind of proud of that, you know. I never had to go in the street and fight. You know, like I said, a lot of people are like, oh, you should do it, you're good at that. And I felt really good, you know, even though I don't remember much. Again, I had problems coming to the fights that I wasn't in my best shape. You know, I had in my both fights I had injuries that I had to not train as hard as I should have. And that was the reason that I think my performance wasn't the best. You know, I don't know. I think for the challenge, you know. But right now, I learned a lot from those 2 fights, just for being in that environment. You know, and see how it is, smell of blood, and just being there, you and the guy, and scrapping. You know, for me, it was a very new experience. Like I said, I never had to fight anybody for the different reasons. You know, I never had to punch anybody in the face to hurt anybody. And all of a sudden, you have to stand up and punch somebody and hurt them. You know, but again, you know, now I don't see more like that. I was so afraid how would I behave in a fight. You know, and coming back from Japan, I was like, man, I was so worried about fighting. I literally fought, you know what I mean? I really just throw bombs and try to hurt the guy. And I wanted to bring the fight more to what you said, more to like a match concept, you know? Like, it doesn't have to be a fight. That's the great thing about being a jiu-jitsu guy. It doesn't have to go and be a brawl. It can be a safe and technical fight, which you can say it's a match, you know? And I learned a lot that you cannot train to fight. You have to train to learn. the art of boxing, of wrestling, and that's what I've been doing these 3 years. You know, I'm not trained to fight. I'm not looking for a fight right now. I regained my passion for jiu-jitsu, and that's what I want to do. I think I'm about to turn 32, and I think I still have a lot of water to go under my bridge. And what I do right now, a lot of times you go to places, they already teach you boxing gear for MMA. I said, no, I want to learn boxing. You know, let that put together for me and my team. You know, and that's why I go to real boxing schools, real Muay Thai schools. I don't want to learn things broken. It's the same thing you want to teach jiu-jitsu to somebody already geared to something. I said, no, sometimes you need to learn. Like when you want to surf pipeline, and you want to go in a little board, no, you have to get a big board and learn that thing first and then go to the small one. And that's how I see the same thing with MMA and Jiu-Jitsu, you know. It's about getting experience and become that, you know. I don't want to become a mixed martial artist. I'm going to become a boxer. I want to become a wrestler and then put it together and I become myself. You know, you see a lot of guys, like, they've been doing MMA for so long, but they still can't box. They can box, but you see that their body doesn't really move as I thought would have to move, you know. And think that those are the things that I took experience in my fights. I make sure I spar every time I train, you know. So I pretty much spar every day. Don't you? My Muay Thai coach, Mauricio, that's what he told me. I say, don't you spar every day Jiu-Jitsu? I'm like, yeah, you spar every day Muay Thai. You know, so that's the way you're going to get confidence and you're going to get reactions. It's not going to be mechanical. But of course, you can't really throw bombs all the time. You got to make sure you understand who you train with. And that's the difference between anything else and jiu-jitsu. You know, jiu-jitsu tap, that's okay. Muay Thai boxing, you get knocked out and then you don't train for a week. You know, so you have to know who you train with and stuff like that. And I'm really happy where my hands are going and everything else. And when I get back to step in the ring in a cage, you know, hopefully, you know, my goal is to just go straight. You know, everybody knows UFC is the main thing, you know, but I think, and if I don't have to fight, I don't think it's going to be a problem. I'm not going to be frustrated at all, you know, because I think jiu-jitsu has what it takes to be there, and I think jiu-jitsu needs me, you know, needs someone of my caliber to be here and be competing and be showing people, you know, the way that I think things are right, you know. And a lot of times if you jump into MMA because you want to make money, and then, you know, you might lose a lot of opportunities to change people's life. And I think it's much better. I would feel more fulfilling to change someone's life through jiu-jitsu than just punch in the face and get people that are just there because you're a badass, you know. And I think jiu-jitsu is more real.
Very wise words. Looking back on your jiu-jitsu career, what was your most memorable match?
Oh, there's a lot, you know. Definitely the one that marked my career was 2006, last World Championships in Tijuca. That was pretty interesting. That was a really great moment, you know. Going there and win the weight in absolute, last World Championships in Tijuca, be able to beat Roger flat and square, you know, after the whole controversial. And I think that moment really made, like, that was really gratifying, you know, because I worked hard for that. You know, I had to overcome injuries, and I almost didn't came to that tournament because I was going the process of my green card, and I pretty much did my whole training camp without knowing if I could go to Brazil. And I don't know, man. When I got my travel permit, it just felt great. I felt, man, I'm not gonna lose. Like, if this thing had to happen, it had to happen, and that's how it's gonna be. And I think that match, you know, maybe not the most beautiful one, but that was pretty cool. That was like, you know, seeing the crowd and stuff. You know, don't think the sad thing is that I think most people wanted him to lose more than me win. That's the only sad part of it, which is okay, you know. And when I won, they were chanting that he was the second place, not that I was the champion. But, you know, I take that for I don't take that. But I think that was the best moment for sure.
Well, to thank you viewers out there, we're going to give away one of Xande Ribeiro's DVDs. You can choose regular DVD or Blu-ray. We have a trivia question for you. Just post your answer in the YouTube comments, and Xande, I'm going to let you ask the question.
Well, we talk about, you know, one of the greatest fights out there, Roger. So how many times have I fought Roger in my life? You know, it's a quite funny number. And there was a few times. And it's the guy that I fought the most. I think he was the guy that I fought the most. And then I think after him, I fought the most was Braulio and Galvão. And then after that, I think I fought Petipano a lot. Yeah, and I think after that, maybe Cyborg. Those are the guys that I fought the most. But definitely, the two Baja guys are the one that I fought the most.
So once again, the question is, how many times has Xande Ribeiro fought Roger Gracie? Post your answer in the YouTube comments, and the winner will be chosen by random. So good luck with that. You mentioned Andre Galvão, Braulio Estima, and Roger Gracie. Which one of those guys gave you the toughest fights? Is it Roger?
For sure, yeah. But, you know, I think Roger was the toughest because I think my fights with him are very mental and spiritual stressful because of both of us energy. You know, he's a very concentrated guy. But I think fighting Braulio, you know, Galvão was just badass to fight him too, you know. But Braulio it's really hard to fight that guy, man. He's so, like, weird, like, strong and big and long legs, you know. And that dude hurt me 2 times already fighting him. So it's very hard to fight Braulio. He's a very interesting being to fight, you know. It's so cool. He was probably my first friend in Baja Gracie, you know. And I remember in 2008 when the Baja Gracie was yelling a bunch of stupid shit for me. He was the first one to come and talk to me and apologize. But yeah, he's a badass. Of course, Roger, he's all concours, you know. If you fight him, you know that you can't have any mistakes. You know, yeah, Braulio was pretty hard to fight him. Galvão too, my last fight that I lost to him at the World Pro, that was really annoying because he really played really well the strategy, and he was so strong on that day. You know, yeah, there's a couple guys. Now I'm looking forward to fight in January Rodolfo again, and Keenan and Léo Nogueira and Cecconi. I think that would be cool to fight those guys the same night.
You'll be fighting at the Copa Polio. What day is that?
January 13th.
13th. And who's your first match?
Keenan. It's my first match. It's Keenan. He's a really cool kid. I'm really good friends with his family. I think what he's doing in the brown belt is really great, and I think Crown did something similar. You know, the kid is just, you know, like they're really doing a good job with those kids. They train so much, and they really train as professionals. That's how I see it. You know, it's pretty much a professional team, a professional jiu-jitsu team. That's how I see it. You know, and the kid is really tough and super flexible. And then Cecconi too he doesn't compete much in America, but in Brazil he wins a lot, and good judo guy. And I never fought him, you know. I'm really looking forward to fighting him, you know, because I always thought, because we're in the same division, but I think just the bracket never got the same. And of course, Léo Nogueira, just a huge dude too. I fought him, I think 3 times or 2 times. He beat me last Worlds. You know, he got that sweep right in the beginning, and I couldn't really turn back. He did the São Paulo pass me all the time. Really strong guy. And of course, Rodolfo, there's nothing you can say about that guy. You know, he's probably the best jiu-jitsu fighter that came in the last couple of years, you know. And fight those guys back to back, that would be interesting. And that would be a challenge for my technique. And, you know, looking forward to annoying them and look after their necks. That's my goal, you know. 6 minutes, you know, that would be good. And I just think it'll be a great tournament, and look forward for it.
You mentioned your first opponent being Keenan. Do you think he has a chance to beat you?
Yeah, everybody has a chance to beat everybody, you know. But of course, I'm really confident on my game. I don't think he's going to beat me, whatever his strategy may be, you know. But you can never take anybody for granted, you know. You have to respect everybody. It doesn't matter if they would put a purple belt there. You have to respect them as respect it is. Because when you fight someone that's just, for example, in his case, he has nothing to lose. You know, he's going to fight 3 world champions back to back. And I think that was a blast for him. You know, I don't think he will ever ever in his career, even if he gets black, he's gonna have that type of experience, unless he fights Roger Bochecha, me, and Rodolfo back to back. But having the experience of guarantee fight guys like me, Nogueira and Rodolfo, I think for him will be if I'll be a brown belt, I'll be very glad to go there and try my best, even if I lose, because and then the same thing I told my brother, you know, after you go through that type of heat, I don't think there's nothing else that would compare. And that's how I see it. You know, of course, you know, if you're there on the mat, two hands, 2 feet, you can win or lose, you know, but I don't see myself losing to anybody. So 2013 will be a great year.
Earlier in our conversation, we were talking about sponsorships and your hope for more sponsors to come in the industry to help pay for the sponsors, the athletes, and I agree with that. Some athletes, you see them wearing the same brand of gi, for example, for years after years after years. For you, we see a different brand almost every year. Why is that?
Shows the opportunity. I never really had a gi sponsor. I never really cared about one. Where I did. 2008, I actually bought my gi to compete.
Wow.
Yeah, they gave me a 20% discount. You know, I'm really happy where I am right now. Hyperfly is a great company. Actually, they started inside my academy pretty much. But what happened was, M Kimonos at the time, you know, I didn't have any sponsor. I was going to fight without a sponsor. And they came in and they offered me, oh, I want to sponsor you. And we didn't get to really great agreement. And I fought like that tournament. That wasn't really like a sponsorship. And then I wasn't really planning to fight 2012, and then the other sponsorship came and offered me a good deal. I'm like, well, if you want to do this, you know, let's do this. But I just didn't think they were really focused on the gi scene, you know. But I always had Do or Die and Hyperfly backing me up, and I think I'm in a good place. They're really doing a really good job. They're doing the brand for the fighters, you know. And I'm happy where I am, and I'm looking for a long relationship with them, and you know, and it's just hyper flying the most out of it, you know. And don't worry, I will still be flying armbar people, you know. But like I said, you know, it's important to be in a company that sees your face, you know. They work for you, and they try to develop your image. And I think, for example, in my case, Hyperfly Do or Die has worked my image a lot. You know, they've done for me in 2 months that any other sponsor did, you know. And the thing about Jiu-Jitsu, a lot what I see is just that a lot of times the marketing and the niche that it's marketed to is so small, you know, because even though it's big, like there's a lot of people that do it, but there's like, how many gi companies there is? There's like 3 gis hanging here already, you know. It's just too many options, you know. And Jiu-Jitsu, it is a mainstream sport, but it's not being mainstreamed yet, you know. And I think the greater thing that came into Jiu-Jitsu was BudoVideos putting a live streaming with like 8 mats, and that's the greater thing that it is. But what else, you know? We're not in any TV, we're not in any other magazines, you know. And you have like the hook of the UFC, for example. They talk so much about Jiu-Jitsu, but these people really know what Jiu-Jitsu is? They don't. You know what I mean? And that's what's missing when people really know that behind all the blood, all the great entertaining, all the great fighting, there is a martial art that builds and reveals character, which is Jiu-Jitsu, the real Jiu-Jitsu, you know, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And that's the only thing I think it's missing to get more interested on it. You know, a lot of the sponsors, they just geared into that, you know. And, you know, I think I gave you an idea, you know, to make more highlights and make the sport feel more appealing to people, you know. They want to see action, they want to see adrenaline, you know. And I think what's missing a little. But there are great companies out there in Jiu-Jitsu, but still, they're not $1 billion companies, you know. I don't know, I'm just speaking, you know. They're not a company that goes in the end of the year and they have $1 million finished, you know. Because if you look into a market point of view, you invest what, 5% of your gross? I don't even know. Maybe someone knows more business than I am. 5% of your income or your net, whatever. But how much those companies really have those 5%? 5% for Billabong and Quicksilver, it's $1 million. You know, how much is 5% for Hyperfly or for whatever company it is? You know, and that's the thing. And I still think there are a lot of sponsors it's more for the fact that they want to help more than a business opportunity. That's how I see it. I think they spend way more, and it's pretty much charity the way I see it.
Right.
You know, because if you put black and white on paper, it would be very hard because it's not a mainstream, and right now there's so many companies also. It's getting a little bit diluted, you know.
Yeah.
But I think in my point of view is just try to use, you know, like the whole marketing that the MMA is bringing, and show the world what jiu-jitsu is about. It's not just that thing about elbows people in the face and some people tit-tot and selling fights and people talking crap, you know. It's a very respectful martial art. And I think, you know, once we find a way, our federation or you guys, you know, the instruments of, you know, network and marketing and the TV, be able to bring us to a mainstream, you know. Have, you know, like the supplement companies be coming hard into jiu-jitsu, Gatorade, you know, these big companies, you know. And that's what's going to make it interesting, you know. In making a tournament, you know, that they give value for the professionals, you know. And that's another thing that really, really amazes me is how you go to a jiu-jitsu tournament and it's not even fun. You just sit there and that's it. You know, you don't know when the good famous guy is. You don't know when the good fights are coming. And you see the black belts with the purple belts. Even their own purple belts, they wanted to watch the black belts. They can't because they have to fight also. And those are the type of things I think, you know, could make jiu-jitsu way more interesting, you know. Just bringing a hook, you gotta show, like, for example, Metamoris, you know. They made, like, highlights of the athletes, you know. So there's still people all over the world that think I was the good guy and Dean List was the boogeyman. You know, there's kids, you know. I get, like, I say, man, all the time my kid sees you, he say, that's the kid that fought the boogeyman. Because they made it something interesting. And then sometimes you see something going, like, into the world, there's nothing. There's not, like, if we don't do ourselves, or our sponsors do for us, nobody do it, you know. And that's how I see it. You see today, like, Instagram, Facebook, and everybody doing the promotions. You see, we are athletes, we're doing this. You know, we should be in a level that we have people that actually do that for us. You know, I think that's the only thing it's missing, you know. I think the money will come eventually if we are marketed properly. You know, because I think there's so much value. Jiu-Jitsu is all over the world. You have a sheik in Abu Dhabi that spends $5 million a month to keep a Jiu-Jitsu program in their country. You know, and there's so much special things going on. We're just missing it, you know.
For sure, Jiu-Jitsu's come a long way.
Definitely.
In a relatively short amount of time.
Definitely, yeah.
But it's exciting to think about what's going to happen in the next 5 or 10 years.
Yeah, you know, I just hope Jiu-Jitsu can be more unified as far as the rules. You know, everybody do their own rule. You have like 10 tournaments, all different ruling. It's not a unified thing, you know. And I think there's great things to come. I do believe Jiu-Jitsu will be a more mainstream sport. Man, we watch those things that, like, they throw that rock, man.
Curling?
Curling, come on, man. You go on ESPN, you're watching curling, and people, like, shoving that thing. You know, like, you see how much attention that thing gets? You know, and then you see a tournament, you see, like, the best fighters in the world twisting each other's arms, and nothing's happening, you know. And like I said, the great thing that ever happened was the live stream on the internet, you know. But okay, I gotta get from this into the TV, or at least like a 10-minute thing, you know. Like, can we be like in something like a little bit, you know? Like, hey, let's start a little bit, you know. Maybe our federation has to put some money for it, you know. Okay, we have to buy a freaking page in the magazine. Let's buy the page in the magazine to see what happens, you know. And maybe one day.
Right. Well, Xande, you keep doing your thing. We're going to keep doing our thing and hopefully bring Jiu-Jitsu up.
Definitely. That's the goal.
Xande, thanks so much for coming in today. Had a great time talking to you. And just after the break, we're going to go to the mat. So what are you going to show today?
I don't know. Is there any
requests? If you guys have any requests, put them out in the chat room. All Dane's saying is no flying arm bars, right?
Please no flying arm bars.
Nah. I'm going to sign a waiver for it.
We don't have time to write the contract.
Okay.
Actually, forgot one last thing we need to talk about, Xande. Every week we get mail from the viewers, and we got a message from Jesse. Let's take a look at the viewer mail. Jesse from Canada asks, I like leg locks, but my instructor tells me not to do them. Shouldn't we learn all the moves of jiu-jitsu? What do you say to Jesse?
Jess, I think you should learn everything, but I think when you know, so you're going to be a leg lock guy from now on, you guys got to ask. You know, and I think jiu-jitsu, there is jiu-jitsu for everybody. You know, I think the leg lock in the academy is more of a safer thing to do, you know. It's a joint that sometimes you don't see. When you see it's twisted, it's broken. Sometimes you put a lot of your weight on it, you might get hurt, you know. I'm not really a big fan of leg locks just because of my concept. I like choking people. I like passing guard, dominate, mount, and choking. That's how proud I am of my jiu-jitsu. You know, maybe your teacher says that because he doesn't want to see people hurt. Because it's for leg lock, you really need to be very specialized in it. You know, I see guys trying leg locking me, they just hurt me even before getting the position. You know, and maybe that's why. Like in my school, I don't allow them to do leg locks. You know, on the normal class, just for the safest part of it. You know, but you gotta learn everything. Like I said, judo, jiu-jitsu, choking, passing, guard, leg locks. Why not? You know, just touch out, don't hurt your friend. You know, and if I have to give you a tip, you know, try to dominate people and try to choke them, and then you're going to tell me how great that feel.
There you go, Jesse, getting advice from one of the world's best.
Yes, thank you.
All right, guys, we'll be right back after the break with Xande Ribeiro on the mat.